Hello, my name is David Boucher. I'm the Vice Chair of the East Long Meadow Public Library. It is January 15th, 2020, around 6:03. And we're going to start by, and this is videotaped and audio recorded. And we'll start by going around the room. Kendra?
Kendra Levesque.
Layla Johnston.
Melanie Mannheim.
Michael Gray.
Cindy McNaught.
Oh, and we have a guest.
Yes, Mary McNally.
I'm sorry.
Welcome. It's okay.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to go over is the minutes of the meeting, from the last meeting. And did everybody have a chance to go over them? I did quickly. And,
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
okay,
If
yes.
there are no,
Changes? Okay, great.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, Michael, great. All in favor?
Aye.
And our guest, do you want to address the board?
No, not really.
Not really? Okay. I don't know.
Other than to say, thanks for letting me crash your board meeting.
Okay.
I've been intending to come for months, but the first 4 months I was in town, I was acting, and probably the first month was only 18 hours a week, so I really didn't have time to barely clean my desk. In fact, I cleaned it in January for the first time, so. No, I just admire what you do, and it's my goal to visit with all the boards and commissions at one of their regularly scheduled meetings to, A, meet you and have
Right.
some facial recognition, and just observe what you're doing and see, so that you know me, and if you have any questions, obviously direct them through Layla, and she and I communicate on a regular basis. I just want to be as helpful as I can be in the role that I have here. So, and thank you all for the service you're giving to the community.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Great. Okay, next on the agenda is the director's report. And Layla, could you
Thank
go
you.
over that?
Well, first item was the notification that Mary McNally is our new town manager. So welcome. We're all very happy to have a permanent town manager. Welcome to Mary. Next up is just general town information. We are adapting to the new payroll software. Conversion has been challenging, but we are all adjusting as best as we can. The library's draft fiscal 21 budget request was submitted to the town manager and the finance director. Our draft budget request is $807,375,000, which meets our municipal appropriation requirement for certification for state aid to public libraries. We're still in the draft stage at this point, of course, but that was submitted, so.
that's good.
Yes. And also another note, we're partnering with the town clerk's office to ensure that there is a conveniently located forum for early voting in the upcoming elections. The community room will be used for the primaries. The voting for that will be taking place, for early voting for the primaries from February 24th through February 28th.
So does that mean that the room will only be used for that during that time?
Yes, because
So
they
it's-
need to set up the machines.
And all that? So it'll be like a couple of weeks?
For early voting, it's 1 week.
1 week.
And then for the actual presidential election, it will be probably 2.
Two, okay. The community room gets used a lot.
Yes, it does. The library's capital project request for new carpets was not approved for fiscal 20.
Do we have a reason why?
Well, it goes through a series of evaluations, and so to put together the request, I work with the facilities manager. His name is Joe Dunn, and we solicit the quotes and et cetera, and then as part of the DPW capital projects, because DPW provides maintenance for the building. Those are reviewed and evaluated by the finance director, the town manager, the DPW board, and et cetera. So at some point in that process, it was not recommended for a project for fiscal 20.
But that doesn't mean it may never get.
Generally, especially for something like carpets, this is my 3rd year requesting.
Oh,
So we'll request again,
right.
and depending on priorities of the town and other capital needs, all of those things will be evaluated. Yeah.
Right.
Well, when you're walking on the concrete, you'll probably get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just joking.
I know.
I hope you resubmit it again.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
We will. We will.
I feel like the carpets really make a library look more modern and, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
fresh. And, you know, with other new libraries going up, we want to have a library that's looks first class.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, you want to upkeep the investment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And there are, I think, carpet tiles that look pretty good. And
Mhm.
I know since I worked in the children's department,
Oh, yeah.
there were quite a few accidents in there.
Oh, sure.
And you know, rather than ruining the whole rug, you can take
out squares, yeah.
You should know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a facility.
And in our case, with the library, it's not necessarily the cost of the carpets that is so prohibitive. It's that we would have to move and store the entire collection.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
So-
So it's
so-
it's a big project.
When you think, oh, carpets, gosh, that should be a piece of cake. It's
Right.
the moving
Yeah,
and
the
storing of the
Right.
collection
Right.
with
Of course it is. Yes.
Right.
people who have experience with moving collections.
Of course.
Can you imagine just tossing everything in a box? And so that part of it has to be taken into account, and that's what can really
Add up.
push the cost, yes, significantly higher. Yeah.
And I was going to interject and say that the building is 16 years
Years
old,
old.
at this
Yeah, I
point,
know.
It's hard to call it a new
It's hard
library.
but yeah, it's not.
Well, my take on that, I don't know what standards or criteria were used before, but there's always the competition for dollars
Mhm.
because every
Of course there
department
is.
submits its
We
requests
get
and
that.
they get rolled over from year to year when they're not honored, so.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm an advocate and we'll
That's
see how
good,
the
yeah.
budget process goes this year, but just so you know, I think the library's a very valued, piece of the town's infrastructure, so it pays, to your point, to keep it
Right.
spiffy
Well,
looking.
it's certainly, and Layla knows the circulation here and the usage here,
Mhm.
not just in terms of circulation, but the number of people
People.
coming
Yes.
and going.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, there were more kids in the summer reading club than there is in the Little League sports and sports in town.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of kids.
That's great. That's great.
So next in my report is financial information. And so on December 5th, the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners certified the town of East Long Meadow to participate in the fiscal 20 state aid to public libraries program. We received notification of our certification and first half of state aid award on December 20th in the amount of $16,892. The second half of our annual state aid award will be paid to the town in the spring. Generally comes around April, depending on tax receipts
Right.
and that kind of thing. State aid to public libraries may not be used towards meeting the municipal appropriation requirement, and annual state budget language also requires any payment made under this time shall be deposited with the treasurer of the city or town and held as a separate account, and shall be expended by the public library of such city or town without appropriation. And we have the chapter in the act there. And so generally, we use, this library uses our state aid award to cover our network membership fee in CW Mars.
Yes, and
Right.
it keeps going up.
Yes, it does.
Surprise.
On the back here, for public services, just a reminder that starting on Tuesday of next week, anyone using Overdrive Digital Media will need their PIN when they log in. So not just their library card number, they also need their PIN. And Cindy, I know you're looking at me because you don't remember your PIN.
No, I'm looking at you because I just went into Overdrive the other day,
Mhm.
and I had come in before because I had to update my card and renew
Yep.
it. So I she updated it and stuff, and so when I went into overdrive, I was expecting them to ask for a pen, and they said, you need to see your librarian.
Tuesday. It'll be turned on Tuesday.
So you can't use overdrive until Tuesday?
No, you can still use
I
it.
couldn't. 'Cause it
Interesting.
gave me that message, and I had already come in. I use Libby,
Oh, okay.
so you can't use Libby and overdrive?
You should be able to.
I thought you could,
Yeah.
but I couldn't.
Well, let me.
So
if
you're
still
a librarian.
Yeah, let me look at it. I'll take a look at it, and we'll see what we can figure out. Because there shouldn't be any authentication issues now. None of this is going to be initiated until the 21st.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought I shouldn't have a problem.
Very strange. No, because I was just in yesterday testing, and everything was okay. So
right.
it must just be your account, Cindy.
I think it was. Oh my gosh.
So if anybody
I
needs
returned my
help,
book early.
if anyone needs help, please contact the library at 413-525-5400, extension 1508.
Oh, extension 1508.
Yeah.
Can you just say the number again?
What's that?
It's
Oh, here
at
it
the
is.
end of the
I
first
got it.
paragraph.
Okay. I'll
Yep.
start.
Yeah, you wrote it down.
I didn't call. I just came in before, and then I figured I was coming here tonight. So. Oh well, I've been being punished.
As a former librarian,
know.
I'm teasing you.
I know.
So I would like to thank everyone in the community and on the trustees who donated to our annual giving tree. We had such a generous outpouring of support this year that New Beginnings, which is the shelter that we partner with in Holyoke, was able to invite a second shelter to participate, and all of those families received gifts. They were very, very grateful, and I really want to thank the community and the trustees for their support of this program. It's always looked forward to every year by everybody in town. And I will segue into another program that we're sponsoring, and that's the annual Boston Bruins Cradles to Crayons Pajama Donation Drive. New pajamas for children ages birth through teen are collected and distributed to local Department of Children and Families offices to be given to local youth experiencing displacement. Cradles to Crayons and the Boston Bruins sponsor the pajama drive annually, but donations are kept in Western Massachusetts to benefit our local DCF offices. Donations of new pajamas will be accepted from February 1st through March 15th, and patrons that donate to the pajama drive will be entered into a prize drawing. The Bruins will hold random drawings for 3 team-signed jerseys, 3 player-signed jerseys, 3 photos, and 4 team-signed hockey sticks.
Wow.
I know in the last year I think they awarded a puck, so this is, they're stepping it up this year
Yeah.
with the prizes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
That's great.
I think they're doing better this year too.
Yeah, they are.
So,
I know that this particular library, we exceeded our donation goal. Last year we had a donation goal of 200 pajamas and we exceeded that, so we'll probably exceed it again this
I
year.
think so.
Wow.
I'm gonna
That's
just
great.
close this a little bit because we have such a fantastic program that we've got a lot of enthusiasm going on there, so might help keep the noise down.
Okay.
And that's all for my report.
Okay, great.
Can I just ask you one
Sure.
thing about the new payroll system?
Yeah.
So that will eliminate the need for timesheets? Is that the goal? Is that what's happening?
That is the goal, yes.
And so you just use that one program
Right.
and everybody can do vacation and sick time and
We're hoping
everything?
so. Yep, that is the goal. There have been some challenges with configuration, and so the finance director is working with the payroll software company. It's ADP, and the product is Workforce Now.
Okay.
But yes, the goal is to eliminate the manual tracking of everything and have that electronically.
So it's not in place yet?
Right.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, it's underway.
It's underway, okay.
Well, first payroll was run
Yes.
this
Yeah.
last payroll.
Yeah, the payroll part, Mary's.
But the other part that you're
Yeah.
referring to, the time off and
the
whatnot,
other-
it's not.
Okay,
Mhm.
gotcha.
Yeah.
But that's the plan.
That's the plan.
Mhm. That is the goal.
All right. I was just curious about it.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so we're all set. Any other questions on the report? Director's report.
Thank you for that, Lynn.
Thank you.
Yep, that's very good. New business, the strategic plan review.
Yeah, so there were some questions, I know last month and the month before, just about, data collection and the plan itself and so forth. So I thought it would be good to go ahead and just review the plan itself. We can, just kind of quickly do an overview. You can see that we have on the first page here the mission statement, as well as the signature of the trustees that were part of the board at the time. I have received information from the Board of Library Commissioners that the next time that a strategic plan for this particular institution would be instated, we would need to have the town manager actively involved, and the town manager would need to sign off. So.
That's another thing.
That's another thing.
So the town,
But we don't have to worry about that until 2024.
There you go.
So we'll give you some time to catch up on other projects.
so
That's great.
basically the town manager signature would be here, not the trustees.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, because the town manager is the trustees are no longer the governing body, but they would still be
Right.
actively involved in the participation of the plan, but it would need to be signed by the town manager.
Right.
So on the page 6 answers those questions about the methodology that I know that Michael had in particular. Page 7, we have an introduction to the town itself. And pages 8 and 9 are history of the town. And then I did include a little bit about the town governance change, just to help anyone reading it with context and so forth. Library information is on pages 10 and 11. And then goals for library services, these cover fiscal 19 through fiscal 24. And you can see that we really tried to base our goals not on what library staff or the librarian might think that the community needs, but we really tried to craft our goals around what is the community telling us that they need and work our goals that way. We have a vision statement on page 13. Page 12 includes quotes from the survey. On page 14,
Yeah, and the number 2 under that goes right under our behavior policy.
oh yeah,
It would be a place where everyone is
Right.
safe, comfortable, and welcome, which is a good statement to have in our policy. It pretty much is, I think.
Our first year action plan, and we can take a look at those. So for example, goal 1, I did investigate hiring a part-time staff member, however, it was not approved. Goal 2, we did accomplish. Goal 2, the library is now open on Saturday year-round, which is very exciting for all of the East Long Meadow residents using the library. That was in fact our most requested update to services.
Right.
We're providing hours during the months of June, July, and August. So I'm thrilled that we were able to achieve that goal.
Do you think that, have we increased usage by 5%? And do you think that might have contributed to that too?
Yes, yeah. The visits to the library have increased. I haven't prepared a statistical report on
I
it,
know
but
that. I know we're just going over
Yeah.
this. I just wondered if you knew that.
right. But yes, we have heard lots of feedback about people being very happy that they can continue to use the library on Saturday. Just so that Mary knows, previously the library was closed on Saturdays, June, July, and August.
That Memorial Day, the Labor Day.
Yeah, and so this was our number one requested, look, I'm a working parent, or, it just doesn't work with my schedule to not use the library on Saturdays. So we were able to.
So you've gotten good feedback from that?
Yes, yes, very much so, very much so. Redesign the library website, that was completed last fall. Stimulate imagination, creativity, and innovation. So we are still working on the Library of Things. We're always honing that and adding to that or removing as needed. And our latest example of working with that would be the mobile hotspots
Right.
that we're providing
Yep.
for all, anyone who lives in town can walk in, check out a hotspot for 2 weeks, and we're hoping that that helps support the schools with their take-home Chromebook initiative.
And has it been being used?
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah, we've been monitoring kind of, availability of hotspots to demand, and right now everything seems to be very balanced.
Good.
Good.
And then work to strengthen relationships with other town departments and capitalize on the change in town government. We're doing that every day, right, Mary?
Yes, we are.
Working cooperatively with the other town departments. As noted in the early voting example that I just gave, with working with Jeannie in the town clerk's office to help with that, and then the health department is going to be doing a community health needs assessment, and so I'll be working with Amy on that. Just all the ways that the departments all work together to try to meet the needs of the citizens as best as they can.
Can you tell me some collaborations with the school district?
Yeah, we've got the hotspot program right off the top of my head. We send home the summer reading letter every year that Gordon approves. We have, just yesterday I had an email from, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but they're initiating, Cindy, are you familiar with SORA?
Yes.
Kendra,
Springfield
Kendra,
Public
tell-
Schools has it.
Tell the trustees what SORA is. I'm gonna put you on the spot instead.
I believe it's just, I don't teach reading anymore, unfortunately. But from what I've heard, they're like online books and it reads to the students.
Did Gordon talk about that a little bit?
Not
don't think he
SORA,
did,
it was
no.
iReady. iReady is what he talked about.
Oh,
So
iReady,
that's what
okay.
I know about, so I don't know too much about it, but I know that my fourth graders in their reading class love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and they're able to use it at home, that and Literacy Pro, which is another app that we have where they get to choose books online and they can, they have the choice of having it read to them, so they can follow along with it.
Or read it themselves?
Yep, or read it themselves.
But so the cool thing also about SORA is that it's also powered by Overdrive. So that means
okay.
the districts that sign up and become part of the program can now also partner with their public library to allow schools access to the public library catalog.
Oh, that's
So it
awesome.
really opens up a whole collection for
The school
students without
And
causing
students.
any additional, and it's a benefit for us too, because we want them to be introduced to what we can offer them. So that's just one example.
And you're still doing a lot of the programs where the schools come over.
Oh, yes.
For orientation.
Oh,
Are you
yes.
still doing that, right?
Mhm. Oh yeah, we'll continue to do
Continue
that
That's
annually,
awesome.
and
It really
yeah.
is good.
yeah. So we've got stuff going on all the time.
I think this town has a pretty good relationship between the schools and the library. And they complement each other. And we're all in the business of growing readers. So
Right.
it's a good collaboration. And I think you're doing something also with the senior center.
Yes. Every once a month, and sometimes more if she can fit it into her schedule. But Maura, she's our adult services librarian. She'll go to the senior center and set up a table at the Council on Aging, and she calls it Ask a Librarian. So any seniors that regularly, may visit the center can approach her and ask for help. For example, if let's say they received a new Kindle for Christmas and they want help loading library books to that, she'll go to the senior center.
Or getting
And
on
they can-
Overdrive or getting on I should go to the senior center.
She's only there once a month.
I know,
though.
that's she's here all the other.
She's here all the other days, so, yeah. Okay, and then I also included a separate technology plan as part of the strategic plan, simply because everything that we do in the library is mediated through technology. Our catalog is a database and so forth, and we're just talking about the wireless hotspots, and so it's just really important to keep abreast. As soon as you know it, you learn it, they change it.
I know.
It updates, yeah. And then you can see the results of the survey, Appendix A. Got a word cloud here. See what people were highlighting is really those services to children. And so, each community is a little bit different, And in East Longmeadow, we really highlight our services to children because that's really what our community needs from us.
And that continues to be strong.
Yes, yep. But yeah, so this is just, then in the back, Appendix B, those are the results from the SOAR exercises. SOAR stands for Strengths, Opportunities, Aspirations, and Results. Our consultant conducted with staff, with focus groups, and then you can see the kind of the raw material here that was used to create the report. So did anybody have questions on it?
No.
Well, I noticed that one of the top requests from people when they were answering the survey was for they were addressing the noise from the open floor plan.
Right.
So when do we start working on that or getting quotes from, I think David said the last
Acoustical
meeting from the
engineers.
acoustic
I would want to
companies
talk
or-
with
Yeah.
Mary
Yeah.
about what the priorities of the town would be, about something like a noise mitigation strategy, and I have a lot of information on that I would discuss with Mary, and then we would bring some options to the trustees.
Okay.
And it's the design of the building, just,
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it's kind of it's almost like a mixed blessing where we're so busy that
Right.
just ordinary activity just funnels right up.
Right.
And it's kind of like parking, where you could have ideal parking and people are still going to complain about parking.
they're complaining about parking.
Oh yeah, we still get every
you
once in
kidding?
a while. Yeah, oh yeah, there's no
Really?
parking because they can't just pull up right there and run in. It's one of those things that, yes, there are times that the building itself is quite loud and we should look at some noise mitigation strategies for sure. But there are also individuals who may or may not be so thrilled with a public library in these times being a very open, bustling, we have lots of children in and out. In fact, one of the person commented we should build a separate library
For children.
for children.
We've heard that a lot.
Yes.
Usually they put them in the basement.
Yeah.
That's usually
Yeah.
what the libraries did,
Oh,
you know
yeah.
that. And,
Yeah. You know, because
That's
libraries
really-
simply are not quiet. They're just
Anymore.
Not anymore.
not anymore. And we do have the 2 study rooms on the second floor, but of course those are always in demand.
Right.
So again, it is about balance. And there are also some other kind of middle road strategies that we could pursue, which would be things like flexible furniture. There are corrals and
Right.
desk spaces that are designed that would,
Keep the noise in a.
and they're flexible, so you can take them apart and really be adaptive with them. And one of the ways that you can use them is to create almost like a little personal cocoon to help keep the noise down. When Kendra has her headphones in. No, I'm just teasing you.
Oh, I
'cause
was like,
no, I'm just teasing you because last one she
There's
said she was
also-
annoyed by the headphones.
There's also a
oh,
sometimes-
the school headphones? Oh, yeah.
There's also a
Yes.
thing about, if you're aware that when the schools get out, it's probably gonna be noisier here.
Exactly.
You know, so if you want it quieter, maybe you
Mhm.
should come a little earlier. I assume probably some of the more elderly people who remember when
Yes.
when
That's
children were
exactly
supposed to
right.
be seen and not heard, and pretty much everybody was supposed to be seen and not heard.
Yeah.
And they probably have different expectations than what's happening now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's partly about educating people as to, you know, the quietest times might be between
Right.
here and here, and here are
Yeah.
the programs there.
Yes. Yeah.
That kind of thing. So there's there's a couple of ways to approach it.
Right. Just like with any survey, you're going to receive some very good information and then some information that, you know, you take into
That you
account.
might
and-
be able to work with and you
Mhm.
may not be able to.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's always good to have people let you know what's bothering them.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Because
It's a
a
good
lot of
survey.
them also tell you what they like that you're doing.
Mhm.
And then you can keep doing that, you know. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, no, it's
Good to
very
review
good.
it.
Yes. Yeah. We had, well, since there were questions a couple times about, data collection and demographics, and I thought, you know what, we'll make sure everybody has a copy.
Right.
That's good.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our list on old business is behavior policy, which I know I've been working on. Now, Layla, you went over this with, I know Diane had done a lot of these revisions in red, right?
Right.
As far as, yeah.
And have you gone over it? too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want this one?
And,
You know what I'm saying? The things I was talking about earlier.
Oh, Michael was, yeah, you can,
Do
yeah.
you need one?
No, I read it, and
Yeah.
and I apologize for, it's just sometimes you read something and it's like, oh, and you have another thought.
yeah.
So there's just a couple things that I just like to that I think you might want to consider, because we talk about smoking and we
Right.
talk about vaping and everything, and then it says
Right.
tobacco products.
Right.
But based on current laws, I know it's drugs, but we might want to just think about whether you want to put marijuana in there, or
Right.
and there's like hash and other stuff.
Right.
So that's just something to think about. Or if it's like, well, that's against the law, we don't have to put that in there. Whatever the case is, I just wanted to bring it up because it occurred to me. And the second thing is appropriate attire. If somebody came in, say, with a bathing suit on, or no shirt, no shoes,
Right.
and then that's, or something that was really inappropriate, like I don't know, I don't want to say it on camera, but just something that's inappropriate. You might want to ask that person to leave. The other thing is, if somebody came in, especially an adult, and it wasn't Halloween, and they were wearing some kind of mask or costume or something, I think that would be kind of creepy.
Oh, yeah.
So, and maybe it just goes under inappropriate attire, but I just think if somebody came in and their face was hidden, it would be like, why are you in here?
Right.
So, just a thought, those two things
That would
occurred to
be
me
under
when I was
threatening
reading
behavior,
them. So that's all I wanted to add. Might be worth thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
you. I think
Michael, that would be under threatening behavior, including not limited to. I think that kind of covers it.
Wearing a tire?
Well, no, about wearing a mask.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That
okay,
would
I
be,
just,
that
it
would
just
be
occurred to me
kind
as
of.
a creepy
I don't
thing.
think
I
that's.
wonder if we could put where it says the following activities are not allowed on library premises. Maybe we could put the following activities are some of the behaviors not allowed on library premises, because you're never going to get a totally exhaustive list of all behaviors, and neither
Right.
do you want to. You want to have the behavior policy or any of our policies have a positive spin.
Oh, sure.
And not a negative. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do this. So, I don't think we're going to be able to include every behavior
Yeah.
Right.
in one policy. So,
Yeah.
so if we have a kind of a thing saying that it's not limited to just this necessarily.
So change the wording to say the following activities are some not allowed, or just
Or
leave that
some
alone.
of the behaviors. That's just a suggestion.
Do you want to put the
Well-
following activities and behaviors? That way
Activities.
you cover both bases?
Well, but I want it to be known that these are not necessarily an exhaustive list. So are
Not
not,
limited
That
to
makes
these?
sense, because you could just say, things not listed are subject to the library staff's discretion
yeah,
or
I think
something like
they
that.
might say that up there, didn't
Yeah,
they?
on the, oh, no, I take it back.
At the bottom, it says refusing to comply with the reasonable requests of any member of the staff.
Yeah, but-
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know, I just thought that it should be noted, and somebody will say, oh, that's not on your behavior list. We can do that.
Yeah.
I really think if somebody's causing a problem, the last thing they're gonna do is run up to the front desk and ask to see the policy.
Probably no, but that's why you have the policy.
Right?
You could just add a sentence that
That's what I'm
this
saying.
is not an all-inclusive list, or
Right.
words to that effect.
That's-
Yeah, we've done that before on some of our policies,
Right.
yeah.
I guess the last
isn't-
one where it
That's why I
says
said the following
refusing
activities
to
are-
comply with.
Some
Some
examples
of
of-
examples of the
Of any member.
activities not allowed on.
Something like that, just to make it broader, that's your goal.
Yes. broader without going into each
Sure.
specific.
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, because you're right, you could write volumes.
Right.
That way it
There's a lot
gets
of
one
bad
of the
behaviors
covers.
out there. Do we have
Yes.
swearing? Do we
Unfortunately.
have swearing at the library? Do we have nunchucks? Whipping
Oh, boy.
Had that happen. So. Otherwise, I think it's,
Yeah, oh,
Yeah,
this is
no, I
excellent.
think everything else
Yeah.
looks great.
We added exactly what we wanted to.
uh-huh. And I
And
think
the East Long
Diane,
Meadow
you did a
Police
great job
Department.
with that.
So let me look at your paper so I can
Here,
follow, well, I need to see her note.
Oh.
Yeah. So that I can
Are
see
some
where
of
you're
the
wanting to add that in, and I'll make sure I have it in the correct location
behaviors.
before I compile this and
Are some of the behaviors
yeah, this is excellent.
not allowed on the library premises, but is. And you can do it any way you want, but.
so you wanted to read, the following activities are some of the behaviors not allowed on library premises. I think that would
Yeah,
Yeah, I
be,
think
yeah,
that's
and
enough.
that way it's not as limiting. I could also add a sentence that says, the behaviors noted are not meant to be exhausted, or how do you say it, Mary? This
Yeah,
list is
that's
not meant
not-
to be exhaustive,
Not
something
an all,
like that.
not all-inclusive.
Yeah.
This
to
is
that
not an
effect.
all-inclusive list. Or maybe these are general guidelines.
Yeah, right.
I guess, or we could just leave it, say the following activities are some of the behaviors not allowed
That's-
on library
that's what
premises,
I
and leave it at
Yeah, I
that.
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah,
You could insert some examples of behaviors.
Some-
That-
Yeah, some
yeah.
That way,
examples of the behaviors are.
yeah,
And then,
that's, yeah,
Yeah, that's good, I like that.
yeah.
New
You have to
rooms
stick
in
to
the
the
library.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be butting in, I can't help
No,
myself.
we're
That-
asking,
that's
we're
good.
asking.
No, that is not butting in.
Thank you.
We didn't consider it that.
Recommendations are always good, healthy.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, did anyone have anything else?
No,
nothing
I
else.
No,
think so.
I think it's a
Looks good.
go.
I think we're good.
Can I make a motion to
We'll just
Sure.
accept
Would
the
you
library
like to
letter
make-
policy with
Okay,
the
so Sunday.
amendment as stated?
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Kendra, okay, great. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
So I'll type this up and remove the red and add the behavior.
Yep.
And I will add the approved January 15th, 2020,
Right,
and I'll send out a clean copy to everybody.
right.
All right.
Right. Excellent. Let's see, what else do we have? The Friends, have they started back up? I don't know.
They have, I don't know if I have any, I don't think I have any news.
Yeah, Diane usually does that.
No. No, none.
Okay.
But for trustee updates, I know that Diane said that she did go to the other library. No, she sent us all an email.
Oh, yeah,
that she
yeah,
said
she
it
Yes.
was so.
the new
impressed.
library. She said it was
Oh, the new,
absolutely
Springfield
beautiful.
Bridge?
and
The one,
I
Springfield
haven't been in
one.
there yet, I'm
She said it
ashamed
was
of
awesome.
myself.
Oh, we won't.
very big and
Hold that
open,
against
and
you.
she she enjoyed walking around there.
It is, it's supposed to be really nice.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Have you been in there, Layla?
I live 4 blocks away
I
and
know,
have
so
not
do
yet
I,
made it.
but
I've been too busy.
I need to get over there.
Me
Does
too.
anybody-
Well, Kendra teaches at Dryden, which is right next door. You've been in,
I
right?
have
Right.
not.
Yes. Oh, you have not?
Oh, man, like, don't call on me. No, I haven't.
Poor Kendra.
Our third
We ought to
grade.
make a field trip.
So our third grade, our third
Someday
grade
next
classes have been over there. They went over before it even opened. They did when they went over when like the mayor went in, and they did the read aloud. And then the first day it opened, the third graders went back over there. So yeah, I'm hoping that when I was over at DeBerry in Springfield, the Mason Square librarian always welcomed us over once a month, and she would do a read aloud and an activity. So I'm hoping something like that.
Oh, I'm sure that will happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's
But I'd
great.
like to do a little quick
So
field
wait,
trip.
do you have a classroom?
Yes, yeah. I'm a
Fourth
fourth
grade?
grade. Yep, fourth grade math.
But the fourth grades weren't invited?
No, the third grade
Just the
was.
third?
Yeah.
Oh, too bad.
It's okay. Fourth grade does
So
everything.
now
So
you have to go on your own.
yeah, yeah.
You wanna do a day trip next week?
That would be awesome, yeah.
Melanie said she's up for it, so I could pick you guys up and drive over there.
Okay, I've gotta go to the knee doctor on Friday, so
Oh,
let me see
jeez.
if I'll still be walking. Yeah, but
Let's do it.
see if the show.
Okay. Okay, I guess that's it. What? Yes.
Can I
Yes, Mel.
interject really quickly? We didn't accept the director's report,
Oh,
just
jeez.
because I know that I was right. I always look around to say who's
Oh.
making the motion. So
Okay.
at this time, I'd like to make a motion to
Okay.
accept the director's report. For
I'll second the
January.
motion. You wanna do it now? Go ahead.
Whose name do I put?
Okay.
Michael.
All right,
Yeah,
Michael,
I-
you're second.
I second.
Michael second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Gotta make sure all my ballots.
And trustee updates. I don't know. I don't really have anything. Does anybody else have anything? No. No. No.
We're all updated.
We're all
updated.
Okay. I guess our next meeting is Wednesday, February 19th at 6.
You're invited if you wanna come.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yes. we
And
would
I
like to
guess
hear.
anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
It does.
I will make a motion
Okay.
to adjourn this meeting.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Yeah, all right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.